On this episode of Slainte, we're on the road to Murray River, Prince Edward Island, where we find the gentle, sunny slopes of Newman Estates Winery. We'll find out how this incredible family-run business first got started, try a vertical tasting, and discover a wide array of innovative and delightful craft creations. Just outside Murray River in Gladstone, Prince Edward Island, you'll find Newman Estates Winery. This peaceful and tranquil estate winery sits in a unique microclimate on PEI's southeastern shore. To find out what first drew him to the area and what inspired him to start the vineyard in the first place, I spoke to the owner and winemaker, Mike.
I was looking for something to start on my own, and winemaking and farming and all that became the interest. So that would be probably the goal of it from my end, is just looking for something that I can work with my father to start with, and then now something maybe I can hand off to my family and just have something continue in the future. So just a little bit of a legacy, if anything of that. So.
And so you are like the winemaker, right?
Yes. So it's myself. I've done my winemaker certificate at University of Davis in California, and then background in engineering as well too, where I learned a lot of the chemistry. But so it's all the work's done here. I've worked a lot with winemakers in Niagara. Obviously, a pretty big industry out there, so a lot of consulting out there. Strong connections with Nova Scotia as well too, in particular the lab environments there of just a lot of expertise there. So I would talk to those places. So, but yeah, everything's with us. Everything's produced here, and so it's our wine. Yeah.
I'm so curious about the name Newman Estates. Where does that name come from?
So Newman is the family name. So Newman's my last name. And estate, the reason for estate is it means that everything's grown here and everything's produced here. So an estate, that is by definition what an estate wine is. So you can't use the word estate if you're not doing that. Single vineyard is something that's commonly used as well too, of just or own vineyard, those types of terms, but it's really with that estate. When you see that in a winery, it means that it's from that property and from that estate. So it's something obviously we're very proud of, that we don't bring in any crop from other vineyards in PEI or Nova Scotia. It's just everything's from here. So it's a very unique wine that you're going to get.
Can you tell me a little bit about this building? I understand that you were kind of like at the forefront of creating it.
Yeah. So even further on that estate side, everything's really made by us as well too. So it's building this. I took a year off from work to basically to finish it. So I got help from a contractor, obviously, to frame it and put the windows in, but took a whole winter to finish it. And everything from the drywalling, the insulation, the mudding, building the kitchen, it's just all done by myself, but then obviously with a lot of help from friends and family. So that's been the core of it as well too, is just building progressively like that. So yeah.
And what kind of things can customers experience when they come here?
When you come here, you typically talk to myself or one of the staff, but it's someone that's heavily involved in the operation. So you really, and that's a unique experience where you're getting someone that can pretty much answer all the questions because they're out there doing the work themselves. So so we offer tasting of the wines that we have. we obviously have a variety, but whatever we have on, we offer out. But it's a very attractive offering to people that are very interested into wine or farming or anything on that, because it's that type of experience. It's less so, I would say, the marketing buzz type experience. So it's more so that really we can get into the details of anything of that. So personally, I love talking to customers because you can really get their insights as well too. And I find the amount of people that I've had that have come from different regions, and then next thing you know, I'm picking their brain too, right? So it's a very common thing from that. So even the place is really built off off the customer experience as well too. It's just learning from that too. Yeah, and it's great too, getting the feedback even on the tasting as well. Like whenever we typically write up our tasting notes, we like to serve it out to customers first and take notes of what they're experiencing, and then from that would be more so our tasting notes. So it's a benefit of talking to the customers. So.
Mm-hmm. Already it seemed like this was such a family-oriented place, but the more you're talking, the more I'm like, this is such a family and community-oriented space. I just love that so much, Mike.
Yeah, it's different, I would say, it's built from that, and I would say we're a very old world winery for that reason. I would say many operations are more going into a more corporate, commercial type, large scale, but we've really stuck true to that traditional sense where it's a family community that starts it and gets support on that. And we've really had no choice but to take that approach too, because it's we're I wouldn't say humble beginnings, but we have our we've worked hard, I guess, to get where we've got. So it's so we have to learn ourselves. So it's so that's really how this place started, and so it's and even from our techniques too, we're very old world as well. I wouldn't say we have. With our winemaking process, we wouldn't have like the most fancy type equipment. So as an example, like cold stabilization is very common in wine, and that's where you have to chill it before you bottle it. But we use, we obviously have a winter here, so we basically turn the heat off and chill the wine that way. So it's those are the types of techniques that we use here. So just staying true to the roots of wine. So.
Wow, incredible. Mike, where would you like to see the future of your winery?
So honestly, with our winery, I'm quite happy with it right now. I don't envision, at least while I'm running it, for it to be huge, I would say. Like I really like staying small. I really like being able to produce every grape that basically be able to prune the vines myself and make the wine myself. So I like staying small. So really, our future is more just improving on what we do, I would say. So it's just kind of that constant learning and just getting better at the craft. I'd love to see the industry grow, I would say, for other people coming in and other wineries starting. So it's just, and in particular in the field of grape growing, I think that's something that really should be explored here more, and really has a lot of potential. So.
Next up on Slainte, we get the chance to meet Mike's father and hear the family history of the vineyard. And I get my first taste of the estate's wines. Located on the sunny shores of Prince Edward Island, you'll find Newman Estates Winery, where founder Mike Newman has been hard at work growing his business alongside the vineyard. To learn more about the history of the family in PEI, I sat down with Mike's father, Don.
There was a fellow named John Nicole, came from the Guernsey Islands in 1805, and he settled the farm next to us. And so then that became the family farm, and they raised a family there. And then ultimately, my wife inherited the property from the Nicoles. Then we had 4 children. And so 4 children means, if anybody's got 4 children here, that means you're broke most of the time. And so anyway, we then said, okay, well, we're going to enjoy ourselves a little bit here. So the very first summer when we decided to do it, we went to France. So we did and some friends had encouraged us, we did a wine tour of France. We went to a whole bunch of wineries. And then the next year, we did Italy, same thing. Saw all the wineries we could in Italy. Then 3rd year, we did Sonoma and Napa in California. So at the end, but we'd come back from these trips, and we'd be talking to Mike. And so the conclusion basically was, if they can do it in France and Italy and California, why can't we do it here? We got the property, we got the farm property here. So then the next thing, I guess, that happened is, we didn't know it at the time, but we realized that we're in a microclimate here. So there's mountains across in Nova Scotia, across the Northumberland Strait, and then the island is a natural arc up towards Surrey, up to the east of us. And what that does is it creates a microclimate which turns out to be very, very good for growing grapes. So anyway, then the next thing was to buy this property, which we did. This was next to the old farm property. But the nice thing about this property is on a hill. It's on the side of a hill. And and it faces south, which means the sun comes over top every day. And what it does then, it means if you're growing grapes here, they get sun from both sides during the day. And so that adds to the productivity of the farm. So the grapes grow very well. And we've got 3 or 4 varieties. And the varieties we have they were invented or developed in France, typically after the First World War. And we only know that because one of our varieties is called Maréchal Foch.
Don, I'm so curious, when you went and took these trips to Europe, did you anticipate learning about vineyards? Like, was that your intention, was to learn more about winemaking?
No, it wasn't. We went to Europe to have a good time, really, what we did. And if you've had 4 kids, much of your life has been spent buying or looking after hockey equipment and taking kids to hockey games and stuff. So we were actually really enjoying ourselves, relaxing, probably for the first time. And then once we did that, then it was sort of after the fact we realized, hey, we can do this maybe on the farm property. And then, so we come back, and then we talked to Mike, right? So we bent his ear about what we'd seen in Europe. And then he was working in Ottawa at the time. And then what he would do on the weekends, he'd head over to Niagara. And he was checking out vineyards over there, you see. So anyway, finally, I think it was that he didn't want to listen to us anymore, maybe because then he started, and we put the vineyard together. Then he had to build this building and put the tanks into it and buy the gear and the equipment for processing wine. A little sidelight, one of the really smart things he did, he took a course at UC Davis, University of California, Davis, on vineyard management and on winemaking. And one of the big challenges we have with vineyards these days, or wineries these days, is you got to know what you're doing. Yeah. And about the only way to do that is university courses. And so he did that. And then, so that helped hugely in terms of setting up the vineyard and also setting up the winery itself.
What an innovative and talented family. Working side by side like that must be so rewarding. Next, Mike prepared a surprise tasting for me.
So today we're going to be doing a vertical tasting. We're going to go through the same wine, but over different vintages. And by different vintages, it's over different years. So the grape variety that we're going to taste is Céval Blanc, and that's the main variety that we grow. It's a white grape, obviously, and we're going to start with the 2019, and then we're going to go 2020, and then 2021.
So what are we starting with here?
So we'll start with the 2019 right here. So it's so again, this is the Dorian wine. We can try it. It's nice and light and quite fruity. It normally has a little bit of bubble in it, but it's been sitting in the glass for a little bit now, so that's kind of blown off. But All right, cheers.
Cheers. Oh, wow.
Here, I didn't sniff first, but I just tried.
That is so lovely, Mike.
Yeah.
So fruity and light, like you had said, but there's something still so flavorful about it, even though it is a light wine.
Yeah, it's deceptive in the sense where our wines are light, where you think that would be quite a light body in a sense, but there's quite a bit of fruity aromas to it. So the next vintage we're gonna go is the 2020, still Céval. Quite a bit different growing season that year. It was very hot and very dry. So with this wine, it's going to be probably not as fruity, I would say, as the first one. We finished this one drier in the sense that there's not as much sweetness in it. So.
That is so interesting how they taste so different, actually.
Yeah.
It's the same wine.
It's the same wine, and the only thing different off that is the year. Yeah, and then the third wine is our 2021. Now that year was probably more of a bumper crop year.
Oh my
So you get that back off compared to the 2020 didn't have as much.
This is like hurting my brain, knowing that these are all the same wines, because they actually do taste like very different.
And even they look the exact same, almost in a sense too, right?
It's so interesting. I would never have thought about this. This is my first time doing something like this, and it's fascinating to see how exactly like all the environmental changes and everything can change things so significantly. It's outrageous.
It's something when you're working, especially with smaller vineyards. It's something that they'll do a lot. It's really the differing of the year.
Next up on Slainte, I get the chance to sit down for a tasting tour of some of Newman Estates' finest in Gladstone, Prince Edward Island. Nestled among the gentle slopes of southeastern Prince Edward Island, you'll find Newman Estates Winery. Having spent the day getting to know this amazingly talented family, trying my first vertical tasting, and learning about the history of the vineyards, it was time to sample the magic for myself as I sat down for the tasting.
So we'll start with the Céval Blanc, which is what we just had with the vertical tasting. This is actually the 2022, so this is just straight out of the tank. It's really light and really fruity. So.
Oh, wow. It's so sweet. Like it's actually so much sweeter than the other ones I felt.
This is, and I would say that's the main difference. Pretty happy with how this turned out. We had a pretty small harvest, but given the weather conditions that we had, we're very happy to have something and really decide to finish that with more of a sweet note. That's what we did.
What is the very next one here, Mike?
So the next, we're going to go with the rosé, which is a blend of a bunch of our grapes. We have a bit of effervescence in this, so a bit of bubble. But again, it's maybe a still very light wine, so we're going to start with this as well too.
I love the like very light like blush. It's not even pink. Like it's so light.
This would be, and that would be the style. Like even I show you later some of the other rosés that we've had, but we've really played with the skin contact that we have. So that's rosé is you make it with a red grape, and it's all in how long the skin touches the wine.
Oh my goodness. That is like a dessert, or like the light effervescence in it is just makes me so happy. Like it just feels so light, and I feel like oh, that's a celebration in a glass right there.
So next we're gonna go with Vidal. And Vidal's the other white grape that we grow. We don't grow as much of it. Vidal is commonly used in ice wine, so it's very commonly used for a sweet wine. But now, however, we're using that grape, but we're making this as a very dry wine. So even though you have grapes that you can use for certain styles, you can make a grape in many different ways. So yeah, this is pretty much a bone dry white is what it is. So the opposite of an ice wine, but it's just how we make our Vidal. So
I'm excited to try it. Bone dry too. That was awesome.
Yeah. So that'd be like it's your 000. So there's pretty much no sugar at all in this, compared to some of the others had a bit of sweetness. So.
Wow. That's perfect.
I think one big breakthrough in East Coast wine, or even Canadian wine in general, was really letting the grape hang. So we wait well into October a lot of times, and then so you can really even get some ripening even in those late stages. So it's a constant learning process for sure. So.
Oh, I bet. I bet. And now we have some reds, I see.
Yes, so we're going to go into reds. So we have 2 red varieties. So those reds are in the rosé, but this is made in a different style, obviously. So we're making it with the same grapes, but with a red wine, you ferment on the grapes. So that's where we get the dark color. We're going to start with Lucy Coolman, which is more of our medium-bodied red.
Love the legs on it.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Mmm. That's lovely.
Yeah. So we don't make much red, and red is definitely challenging, I would say, in PEI's climate. But our this red is quite old. This is a 2017, so we're 5 years. I guess even on 6 right now is what we're on right now.
Sometimes I feel like people think with a red, it's just so full-bodied. It's kind of a big. This is just, it's still kind of light, and it kind of some notes of berry in it, but I can tell that because it's been aged, there's more complexity to it, and it's lovely.
Yeah, so that's, again, to working with the climate that we have, like, we will never be able to grow a Shiraz or something like that here. So it's more for those styles of reds that you decide and describe there, and they seem to work quite well.
Just lovely, so good. What is the very last one here,
And then the final is Marshall Foch. So Marshall Foch is it's been around for a while, and it's probably our strongest out of the reds that we have. So there's a little bit of a darker color, but still probably not quite to that Shiraz type level I described. But it's really kind of a bright, vibrant red.
Oh yes, it's like a big bright cherry is what it looks like.
So this wine would be a bit younger. We started really focusing on our Lucy first. So this vintage is a 2020 is what it is. So it still has 3 years on it.
I love the color of this one. It's just like that deep red, kind of little bit of purple.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so Foch is a very unique wine, I would say.
There's something so interesting about it.
Yeah, like Foch is Foch for sure. So, but we're happy how that's coming around for sure. And then even with every year, it's changing obviously as well.
That is so unique. I have never had a red like this before.
Yeah.
Mike, thank you so much. I feel like I'm part of the family now. Thank you.
There we go. Cheers.
Cheers.
Getting the chance to explore the roots and history of this family-run vineyard has been an absolute delight. The hospitality of Mike and Dawn and their knowledge of the land and winemaking is a gift they are willing to share with everyone who graces these sunny slopes. It's a peaceful escape from the busy world with the bonus of also having a fantastic array of carefully crafted wines. Make sure you add this one to your next road trip and soak in all this beautiful estate winery has to offer.